and they still paid her less while they're under investigation. While they're under investigation for pay discrimination against women, they paid her less for a co-lead role, and they let her down there too. And they paid her less than her counterpart. Oh my God, that is next level Activision Blizzard. Whose idea was that? Who wrote that contract? Oh my God, it's probably Kotick. I wouldn't be surprised. Yo, what's up? So it's probably no surprise to anybody who's watched my channel or seen any of my content that I'm not really a big fan of Activision Blizzard recently. I did play World of Warcraft since I was in like 6th grade, so that's all the way back to right before Burning Crusade launched. I I played, all of their games. I played Hearthstone, I played StarCraft. I played all their games pretty um religiously, I'd say, for a while, and even now, like last year or even like early this year, I was playing World of Warcraft daily mythic rating. But since the allegations and this lawsuit and all this stuff has come out, I've kind of distanced myself from all Activision Blizzard stuff. And I've been covering a lot of the news regarding most of the stuff that's come out. Sometimes I miss things that I feel I don't really have a good perspective on, or that like people have kind of expressed my views more coherently than I ever could. But I think pretty much anyone who's been on Twitter today and follows anything related to World of Warcraft, or probably Activision Blizzard at all, so if you follow like, Call of Duty stuff or Hearthstone stuff or whatever, that you've probably seen snippets or heard some things about this new Wall Street Journal article involving Bobby Kotick. And it's a long one, and I want to go over it and I want to talk about a lot of it. I haven't fully read it. I've seen snippets. I've read part of it, but I want to go over the whole thing here, talk about it, and just discuss some of the crazy stuff that's in here. So, if that sounds interesting to you, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. I do enjoy doing stuff like this, and hopefully you guys enjoy it as well. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So let's go ahead and get into the article here. So we have Activision CEO Bobby Kotick knew for years about sexual misconduct allegations at video game giant. Top executive didn't inform board of some reports, including alleged rapes. I'm sorry. I actually should have said this earlier. This is a content warning, right? It's for sexual misconduct and sexual assault. So I'll put a disclaimer at the beginning of the video, but I should have said that earlier. There is a content warning, so be careful if that kind of stuff triggers you. Company faces multiple regulatory investigations. So Bobby Kotick, the longtime chief executive of video game giant Activision Blizzard Inc., received a troubling email in July 2018. A lawyer from a former employee at Sledgehammer Games, an Activision-owned studio, alleged in the email that her client had been raped in 2016 and 2017 by her male supervisor after she had been pressured to consume too much alcohol in the office and at work events. Okay? Now, this is major. This isn't the only major thing that the lawsuit alleges, but it is one of the most major issues, or more prominent claims that the DFEH went after towards Activision Blizzard in their lawsuit. And we talked about some of this stuff. If I'm not mistaken, I believe this is the woman who takes her life later on. So I guess another content warning for suicide as well. The female employee reported the incidents to Sledgehammer's Human Resources Department and other supervisors, but nothing happened, according to the email, which then the lawsuit against. Actually, this might be a new one. So if this is even another new one, then like it's getting crazy. Like how can this even be? How could this be this big of a problem at the company? I can't imagine. Like how as a CEO or even in any kind of managerial position, how do you let something like this get so rooted in your company? I can't imagine. It's incredible that this even happened and that we're just hearing about it now. It makes me angry. Like how long has stuff like this been going on at other companies? And I assume that things like this must be going on at other companies currently. So I hope that people come out. I hope this encourages people to speak their truth, and so we can get actual change in the industry and in companies in general. This is just, it's so disgusting. I can't imagine. Within months of receiving the email, said people familiar with the situation, Activision reached an out-of-court settlement with the woman, who also had reported one of the incidents to the police. Mr. Kotick didn't inform the company's board of directors about the alleged rapes or the settlement, said people with knowledge of the board. Okay, so obviously, if you're on the board of directors for a company, you need to know these things. Or not even that, like if the company's paying money out or like reaching settlements. So I think it's a little unclear. So I'm assuming that this means that the company is the one that paid out the woman, right? So in that case, like people who are invested and the people who represent investors need to know this information, right? You're messing with, this is highly sensitive information that could change the way that the public views your company. It's also money that you're spending. Now, not, I guess not every dime needs to be accounted for, but when things are getting paid out for allegations, I'm going to assume that that stuff needs to be like recorded and documented to like the people that are supposed to be representing investors, because like how can I be represented if I'm an investor in this company if the people representing me don't even have full knowledge of what's happening? It's ridiculous. um Activision has been thrown into turmoil in recent months by multiple regulatory investigations into alleged sexual assaults and mistreatment of female employees dating back years. Mr. Kotick has told directors and other executives he wasn't aware of many of the allegations of misconduct. He has played down others, according to the people familiar with the matter and internal documents. And yeah, I've talked about this before. That's bullshit. There's no way, if you're all the way at the top and it's this rampant, that you don't know about it. I can't imagine that's even possible. Like it's his responsibility to steer the ship. He's the captain. He needs to be the one in charge of this. If he's not hearing about this, that's a problem with his steps that he has in place for like reporting this stuff. If he genuinely isn't hearing about it, that's still his fault. Like I don't want to hear about him saying like, "Oh, I didn't know," because it's your responsibility to know this stuff. You need to set up the avenues where people can report this stuff, where you can find out about this stuff, where if you get the knowledge of this stuff, you can fix it. And I don't believe that he didn't know. Actually, I don't believe at all. How could you not know when is this rampant? People have been complaining about it for years, and we have people who are familiar with the industry. I'm not that familiar with anybody in the industry. I don't know anybody that works at Activision Blizzard. I don't have any context, but you have people like Bellular or people like Asmongold, and they or like people like Tally, and it's like, yeah, this is something that happens. Like it's known, and the fact that it's known it's insane to me. It's insane. Like how, and he doesn't know. Yeah, that like Kotick doesn't know. There's no way. There's absolutely no way. I can't believe that. Those documents, which include memos, emails, and regulatory requests and interviews with former employees and others familiar with the company, however, cast Mr. Kotick's response in a different light. They show that he knew about allegations of employee misconduct in many parts of the company. He didn't inform the board of directors about everything he knew. The interviews and documents show even after regulators began investigating the incidents in 2018, some departing employees were accused of misconduct, were praised on the way out, while the co-workers were asked to remain silent about the matters. Could you imagine being in a situation where a person treated you in one of the worst ways a human could possibly treat you, and they sexually assaulted you, or they did some kind of sexual misconduct towards you, and on their way out they're being praised by the higher ups of the company, and you're being told to just like quiet like that? Could you imagine the mental turmoil that would put on people, that like the weight that puts on people that have experienced this stuff? Could you imagine that? It's so baffling. Like Mr. Kotick, I'm not even calling Mr. Kotick, Bobby Kotick, this slime sleazeball snake fuck. This guy is a piece of shit, and it's just amazing that he's gotten away with like so much shit. Like maybe he didn't do anything. Actually, I think there is some allegations towards him later on in this investigation, or in this Wall Street Journal article. But I like, even being in charge of this and not, and like telling people to remain silent, or encouraging people to remain silent, praising people for misconduct, or not praising people for misconduct, but praising people after you know that they've conducted themselves unbecoming of a human being, it's amazing. How can you even do that to somebody? I don't understand. I really don't. I mean, I understand from the company perspective. I 100% understand from the company perspective. A company, I've always said this, a company is there to make money. Don't treat them like a good or bad thing. But Bobby Kotick is not the company. He may be in charge of the company. He may have a lot of sway with what the company does, but he is not the company. He has his own ethics and integrity to follow. Apparently, he has actually no ethics or integrity because if this is how he's conducting himself, I mean, the only thing I can think of is he just doesn't want to deal with any of this. He doesn't care. Maybe he cares more about the money. I don't know if it's even necessarily the money. I think he just doesn't want the public backlash towards himself for knowing about this kind of stuff. Or maybe he just doesn't care. Maybe he thinks it's okay. I don't actually know, but it's got to be one of those things, right? It's either got to be the money, he doesn't want to deal with like the backlash, or he just thinks it's fine. Like it has to be one of those. Like if you have another idea of why he would let this get away, let me know. But like why is he what is wrong with this man? What is wrong with him? Mr. Kotick has been subpoenaed in a Securities and Exchange Commission. We went over this investigation into how the company handled reports of misconduct and disclosed them to the public, the Wall Street Journal reported in September. What Mr. Kotick knew about the alleged instance and what he told other employees, the board of directors and investors is part of that probe. Yeah, so lying to your investors, it's just so stupid. Like if you're running a company and you lie to your investors, why would you put your company at that kind of risk? Like you can't, because like one, it's illegal, and two, can you imagine how scared people are going to be to invest in Activision Blizzard in the future now, or at least informed investors? They're going to think like, well, he lied before, he can lie again. Like what if it gets worse and he just keeps lying to us? Like it's just such a bad look. It's such a bad idea. And like, yeah, I already mentioned, but yeah, it's illegal as well. Like you're breaking a law, potentially risking a lawsuit and a fine, and then you're harming potential future investors if they find out about it. In addition, the California Department of Fair Employment and Housing filed the lawsuit in July, alleging that the company ignored numerous complaints by female employees of harassment, discrimination, and retaliation, citing what it called its frat boy culture. In response, Mr. Kotick drafted an email that he had another executive send to the employee under her name that dismissed California's allegations as presenting a distorted and untrue picture of her company, according to internal documents reviewed by the Journal. So, if you remember, this is I believe this is the email sent by Fran Townsend, and she got so much backlash for that. But apparently, it was Bobby Kotick who drafted that email. So he's the one, and people were criticizing her for being in charge of like the what was it? I forgot. Anti-discrimination. Was it the anti-discrimination or like inclusion board or something like that? She was in charge of like basically inclusion, or maybe it was just women's inclusion. But either way, she got like hard roasted for that online. It wasn't apparently Bobby Kotick wrote it. How, and she still got and she didn't say nothing. Why? Why didn't she say anything about that? That's amazing. I would have outed him right away. I'd have been like, yeah, he wrote it. He told me to write it. Or write it. I could prove it right here. Like, why would you not say anything? Oh my God. Why would you defend Bobby Kotick? Why would you even do that? Why would you even allow him to draft you an email? What the hell? In the middle of this? You want to take the backlash from that? She must have read it and realized how awful it sounded. She still sent that out? Oh my God. I mean, that's kind of bad judgment on her part, but I mean, I also feel bad. It puts her in a weird position if someone way above her is like, hey, you have to do this. But honestly, I guess I've never been in a situation even remotely similar, but I think I would just tell Bobby Kotick to like shove it up his ass. But I've never been in that situation, so I don't know. Maybe I wouldn't. Maybe I'd be a big pussy and would just, I don't know. But and now I feel bad for her that she got the backlash for something that this slimeball did. Oh my God. What a piece of shit. This guy's an asshole. Holy fuck. The board of directors was blindsided by the California lawsuit's allegations, including that an Activision employee killed herself. Yeah, okay. Yeah, this was going to talk about it. I knew it. After a photo of her vagina allegedly was circulated at the company party. According to people familiar with the board, directors have questioned Mr. Kotick about what he knew and why they hadn't been better informed, these people said. He has told them any cultural issues were centered at the company's Blizzard Entertainment unit, which isn't true. They just described an incident at Sledgehammer, which was not Blizzard's entertainment unit, which he said had resolved years earlier, these people said. Clearly not true. Obviously not true. This is still a problem. They even recently let go a slew of people who were like alleged in, or potentially alleged in some of these lawsuits, or could have been named, and I guess they weren't directly named, but could have been part of the reason that these lawsuits were even levied. They recently let those, so it wasn't dealt with until recently. Like it's like he's just like I don't even know if he's a good liar. He just lies all the time, and then people just take him at his value, or his face value, I guess. I don't know why. Stop letting him get away with this. If like, I don't know why you would even let him get away with this. Like, what's the benefit? Maybe money, but now people are going to lose so much money. In a recent interview, Mr. Kotick described himself as transparent with the board. Obviously not. They just described like 10 instances where he lied to the board, and said he provides directors with as much information as they require and is appropriate. Yeah, but that as much as they require and as appropriate is completely at his discretion. And I think it's been shown that his discretion is so self-serving that it borders on malicious, or maybe it even is malicious at this point. Like, it's so self-serving. Like, how at this point, if you're the board of directors, I would require like someone else there to report everything, or like, I don't even know what you do at this point. Like, I have no idea what you do. You just like out him as the CEO and hire a new CEO, because like he hasn't told you anything at all. He has lied to you about everything. Ugh. I am very committed to making sure we have the most welcoming, most inclusive workplace in the industry. Obviously not, since you lied about that stuff. You settled and didn't tell anybody. And did they say the settlement amount? I'm gonna guess it wasn't. Like, this lady who took the settlement from Sledgehammer, yeah, like here, right here, whatever the settlement was, I don't know, it was probably not enough, because it was settled out of court, which I'm gonna guess means an arbitration, right? Where we know that people don't like that because it can favor the employer, right? And they recently, employees got that provision in their contracts revoked, at least partially. I think it's within sexual misconduct allegations, that part no longer exists. So clearly, I don't think that person got the settlement that they actually deserved for what was done to them. Okay. Activision spokeswoman Helene Klasky said in a written statement that Mr. Kotick would not have been informed of every report of misconduct at every Activision Blizzard company, nor would he reasonably be expected to have been updated on all personnel issues. Now, that's true. That's true. Well, this part is true. You updated on all personnel issues. Obviously not updated on all personnel issues, but to not be informed of every report of misconduct, I don't know. I maybe at some threshold, but if we're talking about sexual misconduct, you probably want that informed all the way up, or at least pretty close to all the way up. And he clearly was informed pretty close to every single one. If he was involved in this incident right here, which was at a subsidiary, or like a separate office, like this isn't even a major like unit of Activision Blizzard, he still heard about this one and dealt with it, right? So clearly he is getting some of this news, and he's downplaying it at every turn, right? Clearly that is happening. And so when your statement says that he would not have been informed of every misconduct, maybe not, but some of these were extreme, and to say that he didn't know about them, that is a problem with the reporting process. I think there's a problem, a massive, major, looming, like, I don't even know anymore, cataclysmic problem. Not to be like playing on World of Warcraft, I guess, but maybe apocalyptic problem with how their reporting works if he's uninformed about this kind of stuff. Like, I can't imagine, if you're at the top of the company, you wouldn't want to know about things like this that could result in massive lawsuits, and which have now resulted in massive lawsuits. Why? How would you not know about that stuff? Why? Or I mean, I could understand if you have like why would you not want to know about that stuff, I guess. She said Activision sometimes fell short of ensuring that all our employees' behavior was consistent. No shit. Was consistent with our values and our expectations. No shit. Almost all, like, how many people, every single person that you like let go, there was like 20 people or something. Like, and that was the most recent one. There was like more people before that. It's like an absurd number of employees. Like, and like the actual what was the federal lawsuit levied against them, the EEOC or something like that. Yeah, like that lawsuit. Um, there was like a minimum of like 60, right? But I think that they said it was in the hundreds or something like that. Like, or they alluded that it might be in the hundreds of employees affected. That's affected employees. You think only 30 people could affect that many employees? I mean, maybe, but it's more likely that there's just more misconduct going on at the company, and fell short that all of our employees, yeah, like you didn't care about any of your employees. You didn't give a single fuck. Activision's board, in a statement sent by Miss Klasky, said it has been informed at all times with respect to the status of regulatory matters, and that Mr. Kotick hadn't said the problems were only at Blizzard, one of the company's most successful studios. Um, wait, with regulatory matters? So is this, well, because he didn't tell, no one told the board about the investigation, right? So I don't know if that's necessarily true, right? If they weren't told that they were under investigation, isn't that also part of the SEC's, like, the class action lawsuit for investors, that they didn't even know that there was an investigation going on and that was a major problem? So clearly that's wrong. Miss Klasky, you're lying. Santa Monica based Activision is the second largest publicly traded video game company by market capitalization. It employs about 10,000 people, and its hit franchises include Call of Duty, Candy Crush, and World of Warcraft. Under Mr. Kotick's leadership, the company's market value has risen to about $54 billion from $14 billion a decade ago. Now, that is a massive rise. Now, I hesitate to give all the credit to Bobby Kotick. He may be just a like S tier business person, right? He may be that, but you also have to understand that the popularity of video games has also grown drastically and substantially in that time, right? I remember, like, back in the day, you wouldn't, like, it was kind of nerdy, or like people would make fun of you if you played too many video games, right? And I mean that wore off a lot by the time I was in high school. Like, it became kind of cool, but back in the day, I mean, it was kind of nerdy, right? Like, people would make fun of you sometimes if you played too many video games. Now everybody plays video games, right? Especially phone games. Candy Crush, yeah, like, especially phone games, right? So I don't know how much of this is necessarily Bobby Kotick and how much of this is just the market growing and becoming more accepted. But sure, I mean, we can say that he did a good job, I guess, at running the company, at least to this point, because clearly he's fucked up pretty bad here. I mean, I've made videos talking about the stock prices and how they've dipped, and we can see that if it doesn't come back up in like a normal time frame, you could see a lot of people losing a lot of money, right? So, since the California lawsuit, Activision Blizzard has received more than 500 reports from current and former employees alleging harassment, sexual assault, bullying, pay disparities, and other issues, according to people familiar with the matter. The Activision spokeswoman said the company is investigating the claims using the teams from both inside and outside the company. Yeah, of course, that's what the spokesperson said. What else are they going to say? But yeah, 500 reports. That's just the people who reported. And I mean, it's not really that hard to understand this concept that a lot of people, most people, in fact, don't report things, right? So that's crazy, right? The example of alleged misconduct by Activision employees cited in this article haven't previously been reported. Okay, so we're going to hear some new things that we haven't heard before, like that person at Sledgehammer. So I apologize before for conflating the Sledgehammer employee and the woman who killed herself. Those are separate people. And obviously both are horrific situations, but apparently there's going to be even more situations that we're about to read about. Mr. Kotick, 58 years old, is one of the highest paid chief executives of a U.S. publicly traded company, with a pay package in 2020 valued at $154 million. In October, After the Journal approached Activision with questions for this article, Mr. Kotick told employees he would ask the board to reduce his total annual compensation to $62,500, and that the company was implementing a zero tolerance harassment policy and ending mandatory arbitration for harassment and discrimination claims. Okay, so this is the part where they ended that, which is good. Zero tolerance harassment policy. I don't know why this wasn't already a thing. Like this is a bare minimum. I'm not going to applaud you for doing the bare minimum, Activision Blizzard, please. This right here is just so symbolic. It's like stupidly symbolic, right? Now, I hope that whatever the investment is, so $154 million, it's gonna mostly come from stocks, right? It's not like that's why they say his pay package is valued at this, right? Because if most of it's stocks, like I mean, like it's not going to be just like they're not just handing him $154 million. So I don't know what they would do extra with those stocks, right? Maybe they can give them to employees. I don't know how many stocks it is. Maybe they could give them to employees or something, right? Like I don't know. But this is just I don't know. It's stupidly symbolic, I think. I understand it's the least you could do. I just want to know what they're going to do with the rest of the package that was supposed to go to him. I'm more that's more interesting to me than whatever the fuck this is, right? Who cares about that shit? And again, this is the bare minimum. Like, I'm not going to applaud you for that. This is good, though. I hope more companies do that. Although, well, I don't know. So arbitration is probably, I don't know. I'm not a lawyer, but I feel like it probably always is worse for the employee because they're not really paying for it, right? But otherwise you're going to have to wait a really really long time for a lot of these settlements to resolve, which maybe is better. I don't know, maybe waiting a long time is better, but it's also going to create a huge influx of cases in courts, which could also slow down other cases. Now, I mean, there's other things we could do, maybe legislatively, like make more courts or hire more judges, or like incentivize people to become lawyers, or I don't really know. But also you have to keep in mind that courts aren't just, I don't know, I guess maybe it could be different for civil and criminal, but courts aren't always just limited by the number of lawyers or the number of judges. It could also be limited by the number of available jurors or something like that. But I mean, there's like thousands of people in every city and every county, right? So maybe it's fine. I'm not a lawyer. I don't know if this is always bad. Maybe Ho Law will talk about this a little bit. I do enjoy his videos. I don't, if there are situations where arbitration is good, keep those situations, but situations like extreme ones like harassment and discrimination probably should not be arbitrated. I would imagine that's always going to end worse for the employee than it would if they just went to court, right? At least I think. In August, Activision named a longtime employee, Jennifer O'Neill, to be Blizzard's co-head, making her the first woman to lead one of the company's business units. Sorry. And we did cover this. She recently left. The following month, she sent an email to a member of Activision's legal team in which she professed a lack of faith in Activision's leadership to turn the culture around, saying it was clear that the company would never prioritize our people the right way. Wow. So in my video talking about her leaving, I said that because her original statement was like, I just want to pursue my own endeavors. I think that this actually, yeah, I think now I was wrong. I think that it's clear that she lost faith in Activision Blizzard. She brought it up. She was there for a month. She's like, yeah, I've lost all faith. So for anybody I disagree, I don't know if I really disagreed with anybody in my comments. I did make a comment like, yes, it's possible that she lost faith, but I don't know that. I don't have enough knowledge to say that. I think with this, that there is enough knowledge now to say, yeah, she lost faith in the company. And so all those employees who felt really bad about her leaving, and I thought, well, maybe that's a little bit extreme. No longer do I think that's extreme. I think it's every employee should now feel this way. If a woman the first woman put at the lead of one of the company's business units is now feeling like they will never be prioritized correctly from the company, that should send a message that reverberates to the entire company, especially the people below any lead business unit person, right? Anybody below them, you should probably feel like you want to jump ship now. At least that's my opinion. You do whatever you want if it's your employment, but that's my opinion. This is insane to me that like, oh my god, like I guess I retract what I said before. Then like I said, like, she clearly left because she's lost faith in the company. Miss O'Neill said in the email she had been sexually harassed earlier in her career at Activision. Oh my god. It's like literally every woman that's ever worked at Activision Blizzard has been sexually harassed. Oh my god, dude, that it's so depressing to read. Like, regarding anything about Activision Blizzard, it's so depressing. And that she was paid less than her male counterpart at the helm of Blizzard. Are you serious? So, even though they put the dual role in there to co-lead, they put her in there to co-lead, and they still paid her less while they're under investigation. While they're under investigation for pay discrimination against women, they paid her less for a co-lead role. How? How the fuck is this even a thing? Oh my god. And wanted to discuss her resignation. I have been tokenized, marginalized, and discriminated against. True. The only reason they gave her that position was to make her the token woman in charge of one of their units. Like, Asmongold called it out. Pretty much everyone called it out. I don't know if I said anything about it because I was kind of unsure about that, but it's true. Like, the only reason they put her there is to say, like, hey, we did it. Yeah, she's been marginalized. Obviously, all women at the company have been marginalized. Every single woman has been marginalized and discriminated against. This company it's insane the level that this company has come to. Holy fuck. How did it get here? Jesus Christ. Wrote Miss O'Neill, who is an Asian American and gay. Jesus Christ, dude. They literally, like, they just destroyed Miss O'Neill's perspective on the company. Like, she felt that she could make a change by being a co-lead or having some kind of capacity to lead the company, or at least the Blizzard portion of the company. And they let her down there too. And they paid her less than her counterpart. Oh my god. That is next level Activision Blizzard. Whose idea was that? Who wrote that contract? Oh my god. It's probably Kotick. I wouldn't be surprised. She described a party for an Activision development studio she attended with Mr. Kotick around 2007, in which scantily clad women danced on stripper poles. Oh my god. Like, I don't understand. Why are you, like, why would you do this? Why would you have a company party? Why would you have a company party with strippers? What the fuck? What the actual fuck is happening? At the same party, a DJ encouraged female attendees to drink more so the men would have a better time, according to another person who was present. So they go out of their way to hire sexist people as well, I guess. They just want everyone around them to just marginalize women for some fucking reason. Like, this has to just come all the way down from Kotick. I always say, it's not even my statement. A lot of people always say, shit rolls downhill, right? The culture starts at the top. So Kotick's culture, like, and before, I was pretty lenient on Kotick. I was like, oh, it's probably Afrosabi. He's the one who, like, started this culture, and it trickled all the way down throughout Activision, or throughout Blizzard, and that's why so many people within Blizzard were alleged, but not many people within Activision. That was kind of like just a gaming industry problem. But now I think it's Kotick, because he apparently has done some weird shit too. Miss Klasky said Mr. Kotick didn't remember attending such a party. Okay. I'm sure he didn't remember, yeah. Ooh, my memory's fuzzy on that one. I don't quite remember. I do remember the party for that. I do remember a party being had for that studio, but I don't remember going or what was at the party. Yeah, I'm sure, dude. I'm sure, you fucking liar. The company announced on November 2nd that Miss O'Neill is leaving Blizzard at year end. Miss O'Neill said in an email statement that she made a decision that was best for her and her family. Yeah, probably, considering she was, like, harassed, like, and that she lost faith in the company. Yeah, like, that's a good call for Miss O'Neill. Like, honestly, I feel like everyone should feel like this company is just fucked. In the interview, Mr. Kotick disputed that Activision is unwelcoming to women. At this point, how can you even dispute that? It's It's basically codified in like the company rule book, the company ethics book, right? It's like you must discriminate against women. And said the examples of misconduct identified by the journal are exceptions that don't reflect the company overall. How can it be an exception if it's like every single woman, like every single one that's worked at the company has been like harassed or like worse, right? How can you even say that it's a minority of like cases that this happens, right? I don't. He said he is spending more time on workplace issues. If there are experiences people have in the workplace that make them uncomfortable, we're much more adept at being able to respond to those, he said. Mr. Kotick said that he and the board now expect to be kept better informed than in the past about workplace issues. Now, I don't like this wording. Now, of course, this isn't a direct quote, so he could have worded it differently. But this says he and the board now expect to be kept better informed, but it's his fault that he wasn't informed. I refuse to accept that it's anyone else's fault unless there's like perfect instances of people specifically going out of their way to hide information from Mr. Kotick. Like if you could find something where somebody like intentionally like hid documents from Mr. Kotick or like downplayed it directly to him, like even then it's probably his fault. Like you have full control over the company basically. So I don't like the idea that he expects. He's like, to the people under him, you know what to do. Give me my documents now. No, it's your fault, bro. Like you're the reason that you don't know. It's no one else's fault. Like how could it be anyone else's fault? You're literally the CEO. Like how, like who else can you blame? No one above you to blame. You need to know this shit. Mr. Kotick has been a technology entrepreneur since he dropped out of University of Michigan in 1980s at the urging, he said, of Steve Jobs. He has counted the former casino magnate Steve Wynn as one of his mentors. Together with a group of investors, he acquired Activision out of bankruptcy in 1991 for $400,000. Okay, I know who Steve Jobs is. He was also kind of a piece of shit when it came to his workers, right? Not surprised, I guess. I don't know who Steve Wynn is. Maybe he was also a dickhead. I don't fucking know. I didn't actually know that he bought Activision out of bankruptcy. That's interesting. He forged his reputation by acquiring successful development studios behind popular gaming franchises. Mr. Kotick long allowed those studios to operate as independently as possible, which he believed would foster the development of hit games. Former employees at several studios said behavior such as workplace drinking, comments about women's appearances, the sharing of explicit content, and staff-organized trips to strip clubs were common. That's weird. And they didn't feel comfortable complaining to human resources. Yeah, I probably wouldn't feel comfortable either. Now, I agree that allowing studios to operate independently as possible will foster the development of better games. I think that's 100% true. What I don't think is true is that this independently as possible includes allowing any of this stuff right here, right? There should be no workplace drinking at all. There's no reason to have workplace drinking at all. Comments about women's appearances obviously should not be allowed. This is still his fault. Even if he's trying to allow the companies to run on their own, it's still his fault for allowing that. The sharing of explicit content of staff organized. Yeah, this is also his fault. Like this shouldn't be allowed either. This doesn't fall into independently as possible. This stuff doesn't this would be stuff that you curtail in that independently as possible. It's like, this is not possible. You should not be allowed to do that. So stupid. The Activision spokeswoman said human resources began reporting directly to corporate office in 2019. So who are they reporting to before then? They were just reporting to separate offices that then fed up. Like, why would you do it that way? This just seems lazy or stupid. And that the prior setup occasionally allowed some employees to conduct themselves in truly regrettable ways. Yes, and it's still Kotick's fault for setting it up that way. Mr. Kotick approves high-profile hiring decisions and the exit and pay packages of star developers. And he is typically aware of any major problems in each of Activision's 12 development studios and 3 major business units, according to people familiar with the leadership. Okay, so this is how it works, right? So high profile hiring decisions, right? So that's like VPs or like higher, right? Makes sense. I guess it could be a little bit lower than that. It doesn't really matter. So he's in charge of those hiring decisions, and then exit pay and packages of star developers. Fine, whatever. Doesn't really matter. But in that hiring of those people, you also, if you're hiring those people, you have to acknowledge that they're going to be in charge of hiring people below them. So if you hire somebody who's bad and you like didn't do a good job vetting them, you poorly vetted that person, then and they hire worse people, it's still your fault. You still, maybe it's not like your fault in the sense like, oh, you like messed up like and in some like massive way. You like, it could have been genuinely like, oh, you didn't catch it. Like it could have been like they didn't display that ever before and then they only displayed it once they got in your company. Fine. But it doesn't appear to be the case that once they found out that these issues were happening, like people that they hired were conducting themselves in horrible ways, they didn't let them go. And at that point, it's 100% your fault. If you find out people are conducting themselves in these ways, you let them go, you cut the head off, and then you investigate further down to see what damage they caused. This is like super basic. This is like not that hard. If you find misconduct, you need to investigate all the way down, probably all the way up too. I would probably do investigations like sideways and down. That's probably what I would do, because like if he's encouraging other people at his level, I think it'd be hard to encourage people above you. But if he's encouraging people, or a she, I guess, but they have no women leaders, right? So he is encouraging people at his level to like behave in a similar manner, and he's obviously affecting the culture below him because that person is choosing who to hire, who gets promoted, who gets fired, stuff like that. And if the way that they're set up is completely fucked, they're also hearing about. They're the ones like directly informed by HR, right? So that person is like a cancer, and cancers can like affect other organs in your body. So you need to like actually find out everything that's damaged. You can't just take out the one little piece you see and expect everything else to be fine. It's not how it works. So for him to say like, it seems like all of his statements are kind of like trying to absolve himself of any guilt, right? But he's the CEO. He is in charge of all of this. It's entirely on him. That's why CEOs get paid so much money, because they have to shoulder the entire burden of the company if things like this happen. It's their responsibility to fix it. It's their responsibility to never let things like this happen. And it seems like it's even worse than that. It seems like he himself is conducted himself in a way that's unbecoming of like people, right? Or not even just of employees at Activision or like people in America, or like unbecoming of a person, period, right? It's just amazing. So yeah, I like this statement seems like they're trying to absolve him of like hiring like the worst people, but I don't think it does. Miss Klasky, the company spokeswoman, said that although Mr. Kotick might express opinions on employment matters brought to his attention, he generally isn't involved in the hiring, compensation, of termination decisions for most employees. Obviously not, but again, I've already explained why that doesn't matter. Miss Klasky, I know that your entire job is like spin whatever Mr. Kotick says into the best way possible, but this is just, it's disturbing. It's so stupid how he tries to wash his hands of every problem there is at the company. He is like the only person that's in charge of everything at the company, right? He's the only person that's in charge of everything. It's his job ultimately to make sure that nothing goes wrong, right? If the person, if people 12 levels below him fuck up, and the person that's supposed to reprimand them doesn't, and then the person that's supposed to reprimand that person doesn't, it goes all the way up, right? It goes all the way up, because if someone 12 levels down is like fucks up, then the person 11 levels down needs to fix it. If they don't, then then that's a problem on the 11th level, and 10th level needs to fix it, so on. It's not that hard to understand. It's a really easy understanding, right? It's like a pyramid. If the top is in charge of everything below it, right? Like, it's not hard to understand. Dan Bunting, co-head of Activision's Treyarch studio, was accused by a female employee of sexual harassing her in 2017 after a night of drinking. According to people familiar with the incident, Activision's Human Resources Department and other supervisors launched an internal investigation in 2019 and recommended that he be fired. But Mr. Kotick intervened to keep him. Okay, do you see the problem here? Like, it's even worse. So not only is he not actively trying to fix issues, he is causing problems, or he's actively trying to prevent the fixing of issues. These people said Mr. Bunting, who led Treyarch through the production of several successful Call of Duty games, was given counseling and allowed to, no, dude, fuck that. That's what I mean. So this is why that zero tolerance harassment thing had to be added in, because of shit like this. He let this dude stay because he made him a lot of money, right? That's the only reason he was able to stay, is because he made a lot of money by successful Call of Duty games. That's it. Kotick doesn't give a fuck about the employees. He only cares about the money, it seems like. And like his own endeavors, since he's also done some weird misconduct shit. Mr. Bunting didn't respond to requests for comment. The Activision spokeswoman said an outside investigation was conducted in 2020. After considering potential actions in light of that investigation, the company elected not to terminate Mr. Bunting, but instead to impose other disciplinary measures. She said Mr. Bunting left company after the Journal asked about the incident. He left after what? Okay, maybe feels like he's going to be outed, so he's just like, I'll peace out now. Okay, this seems eerily familiar to how Blizzard Entertainment as a unit handled its misconduct. It said, oh, we'll talk to them. We'll do disciplinary measures, right? So now, instead of him being like before Mr. Kotick had said, or Bobby Kotick, I'm going to try to not call him Mr. Kotick. This article says it so much that it's like ingrained in my brain. Bobby Kotick said that this was mostly localized to the Blizzard Entertainment unit. That's why it's not a problem. But his handling of the Treyarch incident is exactly the same as how people handled the incidents within the Blizzard Entertainment unit, right? So it seems like maybe they got that idea from him. I mean, what year is this? This is 2017. Now that's pretty recent considering how long some of this misconduct has allegedly been going on. But regardless, it's possible that he perpetuated the issue that pre-existed before Activision even acquired Blizzard, right? Like he himself has created issues here. This is obviously creating an issue by blocking the suggestion of like your human resource department and other supervisors. You yourself think you're smarter than everyone else on your team? Get fucked, dude. Although Mr. Kotick didn't inform the board about the email accusing the Sledgehammer Games supervisor of rape, Activision did take action. The accuser's lawyer, Harmeet Dillon, I don't know how to say that, I'm sorry, identified the supervisor as Javier Penamino, and said he also had sexual harassed a second woman at the studio. Oh my God. Dude. Seriously, like what? How the fuck do you like? It's not a coincidence. You can't accidentally hire this many fuck ups, right? Like I can understand how you accidentally, like every couple years, you maybe, especially with 10,000 employees, you maybe accidentally hire like one or two bad people, but like they've fired and let go so many people, and now we're hearing about even more people. It's like 30 people, 34 people, 50 people. How many fucking people have you hired into like manager positions of actual power that have just like fucked up so bad, or like treated people so horribly? Just, it's so fucking crazy to me. Like this is not a coincidence. Now I see why like the DFEH's lawsuit claims intentional like malignant like levels of like pay discrimination, sexual harassment, and like all this stuff, right? Like it's because of stuff like this. How like it's not even possible that this is a coincidence. Like we're reaching like levels of probability that like Dream couldn't even like cope over, right? Like it's crazy. The employee who accused him of the assaults reported the second incident in 2017 to the police. No charges were brought. Now, I don't think this is necessarily the police's fault. It could be that there's not a lot of evidence. And a lot of cases, it's very hard to prove sexual misconduct or rape even because of like the way that, just because of the way that things are. So if you want to learn more about why it's hard, I suggest you look it up. It's kind of sad that it's hard. It is generally hard to investigate these kinds of issues. The Activision spokeswoman said the company immediately investigated the two assault reports after executives received the 2018 email and fired Mr. Penamino 2 months later. She said that following the two incidents, the employee said she was too intoxicated to remember what happened, and that Mr. Panamino recollection of the second encounter conflicted with the employee's report to police. Maybe in what way? Like, how did it count? I mean, if she's too drunk to remember, like, you do, like, that's still rape, right? Like, if you are intoxicated to the point where you can't give consent, and like the other person isn't, that's still rape, right? So, like, it doesn't really matter, like, what his like recounting of it, unless it didn't involve him having like raped her or like had sex with her, right? Like, because obviously, if he did do anything, it's rape, right? Because she's too intoxicated to give consent. She said the female employee didn't report. Oh, sorry. The female employee hadn't reported either incident to the company before she left in November 2017. Ms. Dillon's email, however, said the employee had told Sledgehammer Human Resources about both incidents. The colleague of the former employee said the same. Okay. So he got reported for sexual harassment in 2017 and wasn't fired until 2018. That's wild. And so I'm speculating. I don't actually know. I obviously don't know this case like specifically very well. We haven't read about it, but I'm going to guess that what happened is this employee reported this to Human Resources. They told her it's not really that big of a deal, so she never reported it to the police because she believed that, well, if Human Resources, I'm a company, doesn't care because Human Resources is supposed to be there for me, then it's probably not that big of a deal and the police won't care. Even though they probably would have, but it's unfortunate. Like, this is now, I don't actually know if that's what happened, but this is something that happens, right? Where women get harassed or assaulted and they think that like it's like they're overreacting or something when they're not, when it is genuinely sexual harassment or like worse, but they feel like they're overreacting or they feel like no one will believe them, right? This happens. I think there was like even like a Netflix documentary or show about like a real life case where this happened, where a woman was raped and she told the police, and then they basically gaslit her into believing, or not believing, but saying that she hadn't been raped. So it happens. Mr. Panamino didn't respond to requests for comment. A spokesman for his subsequent employer, Online Game Developers Inc., said it launched an internal investigation after questions of the journal, and Mr. So he got hired after that? That's crazy. So he resigned after they started inquiring. I actually find that good. So if news companies like investigate things and then they're like, hey, Zynga, you know, this man was accused of like sexual harassment and rape at this other company. Do you care to comment on that? And they're like, excuse me? And then he just resigns. That's good in my opinion. He can't hurt more people if he's like not at a company, right? In any kind of capacity or like to be in charge of people. The email that the accuser's lawyer sent Mr. Kotick also said another Sledgehammer employee, Edward Rorick, had been accused of sexual harassment. A female employee, Ashley Mark, said in an interview that she complained to supervisors in Human Resources in 2017 about harassment by Mr. Rorick, including the company party at which there was heavy drinking. Okay, like it seems like a recurring theme, right? Where someone reports an accusation. I'm going to guess what's going to happen. Someone reports an accusation or like a sexual harassment, and they do like an investigation like Human Resources does, and nothing comes of it. Or I guess in that one case of the head of Treyarch, they came to a conclusion and Bobby Kotick just vetoes it. But let's see what it says. Mr. Rorick confirmed he was investigated for harassment incident at an office party in 2017 and said it was unclear what exactly did and did not happen since a lot of alcohol was involved. He added that it was stupid of me and totally uncalled for to get that drunk. He said he was given a 2-week paid leave and allowed to remain at Activision in a different position. Okay, why? Why wasn't he fired? Why was he allowed to stay there? Why? I don't get it. In a Human Resources letter to him in 2017, which was shared by Mr. Rorick, Activision asked that he keep this matter confidential. Yeah, they don't, of course, they don't give a fuck about the people harmed. They just don't want to hurt their image. Mr. Rorik, a German citizen, said he was let go in 2018 after he had an argument with his manager about his green card. The Activision spokeswoman confirmed that he was terminated for that reason. So he was terminated for having an argument about the company maybe having to pay more to keep him here on visa, but not for sexually harassing someone. Nice. Fucking Blizzard, dude. I guess Activision, whatever. Excessive drinking has been associated with numerous complaints of alleged employee misconduct at Activision. According to former employees, Ms. Klasky said the company will soon ban alcohol at the office. Why wasn't this already banned? What the fuck? Oh my god, we still got a while. Okay. Yeah, this is the EEOC one. The Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, which has been investigating Activision since 2018 and in joint with the DFEH, right? So that's why they didn't do like a full lawsuit, because they let the DFEH take the other half, stuff like that. Said in a complaint made public in September that employees endured sexual harassment that was severe and pervasive to alter the conditions of employment. Activision said it agreed to pay $18 million to settle the EEOC's case. The company said at the time it would take other steps to prevent and eliminate harassment. Yeah, we already talked about this. I have videos about that. The California regulator that sued Activision in July has challenged the settlement, saying the proposed amount is too low, that the agreement is harmful to victims and its case. The Activision spokeswoman noted that the EEOC has accused the lawyer's reading of the California case of misconduct. The state agency has denied those allegations. Yeah. True. Go watch Hoklaw's video about this. He does a really good job covering it. Activision didn't make disclosures to investors about the more than 2-year-long EEOC probe until the lawsuit became public this year. The disclosed SEC probe in September, after questions from the Journal, a lawyer for Activision said most companies don't disclose EEOC investigations. Is that true? Most companies don't disclose that? I don't know. That might be true. That's crazy. Why would you not disclose an investigation? I feel like you should disclose all investigations. If that's true, it should be a law that you have to disclose all investigations to investors. That's weird. Over this year, Mr. Kotick himself has been accused by several women of mistreatment, both inside and outside the workplace, and in some instances has worked to settle the complaints quickly and quietly, according to people familiar with the incident and documents reviewed by the Journal. Now, it could be true, or it could be like viewed, right, that quickly and quietly, it means like, oh yeah, I just want to keep it under hush. I did it. I don't want people to know about it. But you could also say, I didn't do it, but I don't want people to think I did, right? So I don't know if this is necessarily like a smoking gun, like because he did it quickly and quietly. I think that's up for you to decide. But we'll read what those allegations are, and we'll see how they go. In 2006, one of his assistants complained that he had harassed her, including by threatening in a voicemail to have her killed, according to people familiar with the matter. He settled the matter out of court, and people said, he settled the matter out of court, the people said. So his assistant complained that he had harassed her, including by threatening in a voicemail to have her killed. What the fuck? Bro, what the fuck? Okay, now that makes it so weird. So, okay. So there's two sides, right? Like either he's like, he got so mad because it was true, and he's like, if you tell people I'm gonna kill you, or he's mad because it's not true, and he's like, yo, if this lie gets out, I'm gonna kill you. Either way, it's really, really bad. Either way, telling someone that you're gonna kill them over voicemail, oh my god, that takes such a level of insanity. So you called them, they didn't pick up, and you're like, I'm gonna kill you. Like, think about that. You had to sit there on the phone waiting for it to ring, hearing the dialing, hearing the voicemail receiver, and then you're like, yeah, I'm still gonna say this. Like, what the fuck? What the fuck? That's so weird. The Activision spokeswoman said Mr. Kotick quickly apologized 16 years ago for the obvious hyperbolic and inappropriate voicemail, and he deeply regrets the exaggeration and tone in his voicemail to this day. Okay, I mean, I don't care if you regret it, bro. Like, I mean, I guess if it's it's just fucked, dude. Like I just feel like everything about this whole company is rotten, all the way up to Mr. Kotick, all the way up to Bobby Kotick. Fuck. In 2007, he was sued by the flight attendant on a private jet he co-owned. The flight attendant claimed the plane's pilot had sexually harassed her. Okay. And after she complained to the other owner, Mr. Kotick fired her. Oh my god. So he will fire people who accuse people. Maybe it doesn't say if there was an investigation or not. Now, if it's a false accusation, then yes, fire her. But I don't even think there was an investigation. He's just like, hey, this woman's making waves, fire her. But he won't fire the people who actually harass people. The defendants denied the allegations. Oh. Okay. So is this going to be part of the lawsuit that'll come out maybe eventually? In a separate action related to legal fees in the case, an arbitrator... Oh, no, because that went to arbitration. Citing what he said was sworn testimony, wrote that Mr. Kotick told the flight attendant and her attorneys, "I'm going to destroy you." A spokesman for Mr. Kotick denied that he said that? What the fuck? In a separate action related to legal fees in the case, an arbitrator... The arbitrator? Isn't that the judge who's in charge of it? So the judge said this? Holy shit. Dude, this is another... So back to back. He did the the back to back. 2006, 2007. I'm going to kill you. I'm going to destroy you. Oh my god, this guy's insane. Is it the back to back to back? In 2008, they settled... Oh no, they settled by paying the attendant $200,000. Okay, so you're gonna say that this isn't true, but you paid her out? What the fuck? This is so... Oh my god. He never stops lying. He never stops lying. According to the arbitrator's decision, a spokesman for Mr. Kotick said he couldn't have fired her in retaliation for complaining because she never complained directly to him. Then why did you pay her? What was the payment for then? Just the harassment? Also, this seems really not a lot of money for enduring sexual harassment and being fired for your claims. Like, this is not that much money. Maybe this is normal? I don't know. This doesn't seem like that much money. In 2020, about 30 female employees who worked in Activision esports division wrote an email to their unit's leaders saying that female employees have been subject to unwanted touching, demeaning comments, exclusion from important meetings, and unsolicited comments in their appearances. 30 female employees. That's literally all the female employees at Activision Blizzard because they don't hire women. Oh my god, dude. That was in 2020. Oh my god, dude. Why? So from 2006, it's been a problem all the way to 2020. Holy fuck. Mr. Kotick was aware of the email. Oh, so when he said he's not aware of this stuff, he's just a fucking liar. That's 30 employees you're aware of being harassed. 30! And you still fucking said you didn't know. Okay. According to people familiar with the matter. Fucking liar, dude. Activision spokeswoman, said that after meetings with representatives of the group, the company took steps such as providing diversity and inclusion training to the esports leadership team. Wow. Amazing. Give yourselves a pat on the back. Stupid fuck. Now, I do think diversity and inclusion training is important, but this should have already been done. This isn't like a retaliation method. This is something that should have already been done. There should have been punishment. There should have been like a deeper investigation. People probably should have been fired. Former Blizzard technology chief Ben Kilgore, wow, what a name, faced multiple allegations of sexual harassing female staffers over the course of several years, according to people familiar with the matter. Multiple allegations over several years. So how does that happen? During a company investigation, Mr. Kilgore lied about whether he had a relationship with a lower level employee. Some of these people said he was fired in 2018 in a move approved by Mr. So he did approve of one time when a sexual harasser was accused of something. Amazing. Michael Morheim, the former head of Blizzard, sent an email to employees thanking Mr. Kilgore for his many contributions over the last 4.5 years, according to the copy of the email. Some employees said they were taken aback by the praise, particularly given that they had been told not to discuss the circumstances of Mr. Kilgore's departure. Yeah, that's really cringe, dude. Why would you say that? Oh my god. It's not really uncommon for people to send out like an email when people leave a company, but it's like praise him for his contributions after he's leaving for sexual misconduct. Like, dude, what the fuck? That's weird. And like having people told not to say anything is also weird. In their 2020 letter, the female esports employees complained about the feeling of defeat when an abuser exits the company with positive public farewells. Yeah, of course. Like if you're being harassed and they're like, all right, have a good life, man. You did such a good job here. We're really proud of the stuff you did. We loved having you. It's like, dude, like that feels horrible. It feels horrible. Like, yeah, it's really stupid that they did that. Jesus, fuck. The Activision spokeswoman declined to comment on Kilgore case. Mr. Kilgore didn't respond to the request for comment. Okay, yeah, well, is it the first time that the spokeswoman declined to comment? Oh my god. Must be serious. The employee email Mr. Kotick drafted about California's lawsuit in July said it included factually incorrect, old, and out-of-context stories. Mr. Kotick approves most internal company-wide emails as well as media responses, according to internal documents and people familiar with the matter. Yeah, that makes sense. Well, I think this was like why this is another reason people were angry is because of the response that Activision Blizzard had about the allegations. Like they were really mad about this response. He directed the email to be sent to employees by Francis Townsend. Oh, a former Bush administration official. That part doesn't matter. Who joined Activision earlier this year and is one of the company's few female senior executives. Yeah. Ugh, yikes. And then that looked really bad for her. Yeah. Activision employees criticized the statement and Miss Townsend on social media and later organized a walkout. Yeah, they did. That was crazy, but it was good for the employees because they got a lot of the stuff they wanted. Miss Townsend apologized for the statement at the company women's group she led. Yeah, like that's so sad. She didn't even write this. He wrote it. What the fuck? Miss Townsend apologized for the statement at the company women's group she led, attended by hundreds of Activision employees. Some shared their own stories of harassment and asked why Activision didn't care about them. According to a recording of the meeting, employees asked Ms. Townsend to resign as head of that group. Documents show which she did. Yeah, that sucks. Yep. Fuck, man. Mr. Kotick, Bobby Kotick is such a dick. Miss Klasky, the Activision spokeswoman, said Mr. Kotick takes responsibility for the incident and regrets it. Miss Townsend should not be blamed for this mistake. Why didn't you say anything earlier? What the fuck? You are oh my god. Bobby Kotick's a pussy. Why didn't you say anything earlier then? Oh my god. You heard the backlash. Why didn't you say anything then? Are you serious? Holy shit. Mr. Kotick backtracked, publicly calling the earlier statements by Ms. Townsend tone deaf. He did say that. We will do everything possible to make sure that together we improve the build the kind of inclusive work. Yeah. What the fuck? So he fucked up. Let her take the fall. Says, yeah, she shouldn't have been blamed. My bad. And then he says, oh, yeah, her response was tone deaf. The fuck? Dude, holy fuck. This whole thing is fucking wild. It's crazy. I can't believe how fucked this whole situation is. But it's been a long video. Let me know what you think down in the comments about this whole situation. I personally think it's fucked. I don't know if I'll ever play another Activision Blizzard game again. This company probably deserves to be like go under and like I feel bad for the employees or maybe every there's so many people involved. Like I feel like the good employees should, I hope that they find employment elsewhere. That's all I can say. Because it seems like it's like rotten all the way down. All the way down. It feels so bad. Oh, it feels so bad. I I don't know what else to say, but yeah, let me know what you think in the comments. And yeah, I'm not gonna say if you enjoyed the video like I normally do, but if you do generally enjoy my commentary, I guess, please like and subscribe to the channel. But yeah, that's it for this one. Thanks so much for watching. Peace.